From sci-fi originals to hard-hitting dramas and superlative horror films, the year 2017 delivered a bumper crop of excellent flicks for film lovers. The year was so chock full of cinematic wins that some critics have had trouble trimming down their lists of favorites. Even so, there's no doubt that these movies are part of what made 2017 such a memorable year for movies. Split. Pretty much no one saw it coming, but M. Night Shyamalan's surprise hit Split is among the best films of the year. The taut thriller follows a group of young women abducted by a man with multiple personalities. Their struggle for dominance threatened to either upend his plans or make things even worse for his captives.
Everybody just take a minute!
Critics have hailed it as an unexpected return to form for Shyamalan, and a big part of the film's buzz comes from its twist ending. It isn't just the shocking final act that makes Split so much fun. Actor James McAvoy ties it all together with a tour de force performance. Get Out. Helmed by debuting feature director Jordan Peele, this comedy-horror hybrid follows the increasingly frightening misadventures of a young man venturing into the suburbs to meet his girlfriend's parents. The fact that they're an interracial couple underscores both the funniest and creepiest moments of the film, and soon our hero finds himself under the town's sinister spell, just as the dangers of his hosts become clear.
Get out. Sorry, man. Okay. Get out!
There's a reason why everyone's been talking about Get Out since its release. See it yourself and find out why. Logan. Although Hugh Jackman has been celebrated for his portrayal of Wolverine for the better part of 2 decades, none of those outings have truly captured the angst and rage that helped make the character so poignant in the comics. That all changes with Logan, a loose adaptation of the Old Man Logan comics arc that finds our hero in a grim wasteland largely devoid of mutants, called upon to defend a mysterious girl targeted by a passel of bloodthirsty villains. A brooding Western road trip with claws, Logan's been hailed by critics as a fitting farewell for Jackman, and perhaps the best entry in the X-Men franchise to date. Beauty and the Beast. Disney's winning streak continued in 2017 with the box office bonanza that was their Beauty and the Beast live-action remake. The faithful remake of its animated predecessor was a must-see for movie fans because it introduced a new all-star cast, updated visual dynamics, and a few new songs and in-jokes to enjoy. It was a rare movie that could truly be enjoyed by audiences of all ages, and arrived as one of the year's most successful movies as a result. Wonder Woman. After 75 plus years of taking down baddies in the comics pages, and one supporting appearance in Dawn of Justice, Wonder Woman finally got her shot at solo blockbuster glory in 2017, and she may have single-handedly saved the DC Extended Universe. Wonder Woman did everything it needed to and then some, serving as an effective origin story as well as a superhero adventure that stood on its own, while continuing to lay the groundwork for Justice League. Considering how underwhelming Justice League turned out to be, it looks like Wonder Woman is going to be carrying the DCEU on her very capable shoulders from here on out. Baby Driver. With its eclectic soundtrack and insanely impressive stunts, Edgar Wright's Baby Driver is an exciting action flick. The pick centers on a young crook named Baby, who works as a getaway driver for a smarmy crime boss named Doc. Suffering from tinnitus, Baby drowns out the constant droning with an incredible collection of iPods, and while he's grooving to the tunes, he's able to weave in and out of traffic, dodge cars, and avoid police pursuit by doing 180s in alleyways. But Baby's life gets a little more complicated when he falls head over heels for a beautiful waitress, which makes him want to straighten his life out. But he's got one more job on deck, working with a who's who of psycho killers. Needless to say, the robbery doesn't go as planned, and Baby is forced to take a stand to save everything he loves. With its dance-like action and its cool character lineup, the film has got a little something special for everyone and arrived as an immediate standout for the year. Dunkirk. Of Christopher Nolan's greatest achievements, Dunkirk is right up there with Inception and The Dark Knight. The nail-biting World War II thriller tells the story of a real-life military retreat. Roughly 400,000 Allied troops were trapped on a French beach, completely surrounded by the Nazis, and the only thing keeping our heroes from home was the English Channel. Unfortunately, the beach was too shallow to accommodate military-sized vessels, so English civilians sprang into action, sailing to Dunkirk in their yachts and fishing boats. It was an incredible moment in history, and Nolan does a masterful job of capturing the suspense. In true Nolan fashion, the story is divided into 3 interwoven narratives which are all ultimately connected. Audiences are put in the middle of the battlefield and feel the same desperation of those soldiers, waiting for a boat to arrive with a chance of rescue. It. Andy Muschietti's It isn't the first adaptation of Stephen King's weighty novel. In 1990, Tim Curry made horror history by playing Pennywise the Dancing Clown, the dairy demon with a fondness for floating.
Kiss me, fat boy!
With Bill Skarsgård wearing the carnival makeup, things are a lot darker and bloodier in the new take. The first of a two-part tale, It tells the story of the Losers Club, a group of outcast kids who are beaten by bullies and plagued by horrible home lives. But when they're together, these kids are pretty powerful, and they need as much strength as possible when they find themselves facing a flesh-eating clown. The losers eventually head into the sewers to end the evil that's been plaguing their town for years. And under all the gore and grime, behind the monstrous apparitions and evil sinks, there's a lot of heart in this movie, even if the creepy clown wants to eat everyone. Blade Runner 2049. While it's become one of the most influential sci-fi movies ever made, when Blade Runner hit theaters in 1982, it divided critics and flopped at the box office. 35 years later, Denis Villeneuve's sequel has been similarly unsuccessful at the box office, but it completely impressed critics with its stunning visuals and intensely philosophical plot. The film's dynamic landscape feels equal parts terrifying and fabulous, and even beyond the gorgeous imagery is a movie still grappling with and building on the same meaty themes from the first film. Namely, the nature of humanity. With Ryan Gosling as Kay, a Blade Runner hunting for answers about his past and the truth about the android race known as replicants, the story explores the depths of the human soul. So, while the film may not have been a commercial success this time either, we can count on Blade Runner 2049 to inspire the sci-fi scene for generations to come as well. I, Tonya. Directed by Craig Gillespie, I, Tonya is an examination of what really happened in 1994 when ice skater Nancy Kerrigan was attacked before the U.S. Figure Skating Championship in Detroit, and how one woman was at the center of it all, Tonya Harding. Played to perfection by Margot Robbie, Harding comes off as a tragic anti-hero, caught between an abusive mother, a violent husband, and her desperate need to succeed in a snobby sport that treats her like dirt.
Maybe you should pick another sport. Suck my.
Surrounded by creeps and idiots, she claws her way to the top, only to see everything come tumbling down fast. You might already have an opinion on the notorious ice queen, but thanks to Robbie's powerful performance, we actually come to sympathize with this woman, who's so often reduced to a simple, trashy villain. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. While it's controversial among some Star Wars fans, The Last Jedi cleaned house at the box office and used its Force powers to win the approval of almost every critic in the galaxy. Picking up pretty much immediately after The Force Awakens, the film finds Rey desperately trying to convince a world-weary Luke Skywalker that the Resistance needs his help, but the old Jedi is holding on to some secrets and refuses to leave his deserted planet, frustrating Rey and causing her to seek answers from her old enemy, Kylo Ren. In addition to the main plot, The Last Jedi takes us to some incredible new worlds and pays homage to the originals while setting up an exciting new future for the franchise. Thor: Ragnarok. For the most part, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has delivered solid, entertaining films, with the exception being the Thor franchise. While the character always had potential, the first two films didn't quite do justice to the God of Thunder. So thank Odin for Taika Waititi, whose Ragnarok is an apocalyptic good time. The plot follows Thor as he's trying to stop Hela from taking over Asgard. Unfortunately, Thor's superhero plans don't pan out, and after his hammer is crushed into tiny pieces, he finds himself imprisoned on a planet where he's forced to do battle with the Incredible Hulk. What results is possibly the funniest movie in the entire Marvel franchise, and one with a surprising amount of heart.
Doesn't sound right. Well, that's true.
Unlike the previous two films, Ragnarok actually has something to say about the destructive influence of colonialism and how great nations often hide their bloody pasts. And most importantly, Thor is no longer a Shakespearean straight man. Instead, he's a good-natured goof who's forced to truly reckon with his own godhood, with a few werewolves and fire demons in the mix. Phantom Thread. 10 years after There Will Be Blood, Paul Thomas Anderson reunited with Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread, a period drama that marks the last time Day-Lewis steps in front of a movie camera. The story follows his powerful and obsessive dressmaker, who goes through women like they're spools of thread until he meets his match with a waitress who turns the artist's life upside down. Soon, the relationship goes from sweet to toxic, allowing Day-Lewis to unleash all his thespian powers along the way. While it's lacking the fire and brimstone of There Will Be Blood, Phantom Thread is just as powerful in its suave and simmering, mild-mannered English way, and marks a fitting end to Day-Lewis's illustrious career. The Disaster Artist. Widely considered one of the worst movies ever made, The Room has left audiences howling for years with its bizarro scenes and nonsensical dialogue, courtesy of Tommy Wiseau.
You are lying. I never hit you. You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
An oddball auteur who wrote, directed, and starred in this especially awful film. Wiseau has long been one of cinema's craziest and most mysterious characters. He's been treated as a laughingstock and a villain, but according to the disaster artist, maybe he's just the ultimate embodiment of the Hollywood dream. Directed by and starring James Franco, the film depicts the relationship between aspiring actor Greg Sestero and Wiseau, an out-of-control egomaniac with incredible amounts of cash and zero ability to memorize lines.
Action! What line?
Wiseau hopes to become an A-list star, but when he's rejected time and time again, he decides to make his own movie, sucking Greg into the world's weirdest film shoot. While it would be easy to make Wiseau look completely foolish, Franco gives a much more layered performance that's being called one of his all-time best. The Shape of Water. Guillermo del Toro is a master at telling enchanting tales, as seen in films like Pan's Labyrinth, The Devil's Backbone, and Crimson Peak. And now the director has crafted what might be his magnum opus with The Shape of Water, a film that looks like Creature from the Black Lagoon, but feels more like Beauty and the Beast. This film follows a mute janitor who works at a government lab and discovers an amphibian man locked away in the bowels of the building. Despite their very apparent differences, the two form a bond, and soon there's a romance brewing, one threatened by Cold War intrigue and a vicious military officer. The result is a truly magical movie with gorgeous direction and moving performances from its leading duo. All the Money in the World. Ridley Scott managed to turn what could have been a show-stopping scandal into a point of positive buzz through sheer force of will. After Kevin Spacey was accused of multiple accounts of inappropriate behavior against minors, it seemed there wasn't enough money in the world to save the director's true-life thriller. But Scott quickly recalibrated by recasting Spacey's role with Christopher Plummer, and reshot 22 scenes with just 6 weeks to go until the film was due in theaters. Not only did he complete the ultra-ambitious adjustment in time, but critics were also highly impressed with Plummer's misanthropic performance as the billionaire who refused to pay ransom for his kidnapped grandson. As a result, the movie, which could have become a casualty of the 2017 reckoning, was actually one of the year's most impressive productions. The Post. Based on a true story, Steven Spielberg's The Post follows Washington Post owner Katharine Graham and editor Ben Bradley as they debate whether to publish the Pentagon Papers, leaked documents that expose the U.S. government's lies about the Vietnam War. With pressure coming down hard from the White House, the two must grapple with concepts like the value of a free press, knowing full well their decision could wreck the paper, or worse.
We could all go to prison.
An old-school movie from an old-school master, The Post brilliantly jumps back and forth from historical epic to a comedy to crackling thriller. The A-list stars are on top of their game, and more importantly, in an era when fake news and divisive politics rule the day, The Post is a timely reminder about the importance of journalism. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.